Let's take a look at the Revit program. We're going to recreate that building shell that we did from section 4. And we're going to model the walls. We're going to leave off the deck, the porch, and the beam above. But we are going to add a door, a window, the roof. And we're going to make the roof a little bit more complicated. We're not going to add the overhang over the porch. Then we'll add some annotations, we'll put some notes on the elevation or notes on the roof plan, and then we'll look at everything that's been made. So the goal of this is to introduce you to Revit. It's a very powerful tool. It's the industry standard in construction and architecture right now. And the goal is just to let you see it. Okay, so you will learn much more about it in Design 325, 340, 360, even in 310, 328, 320. We really use Revit a lot, but 325 is where you're going to really get your hands-on use. This is meant to be just the very most basic introduction to pique your interest. So let's take a look. We're going to open Revit 2024. I again like to right click and open. It's a big program. It takes a little while to come up. It's called a BIM program, Building Information Model. So it's more than just the picture. It really holds a ton of information about everything that you put into it. And you'll see that as we go. So here it comes up. It does take a while. This is a huge program, by the way, which is why we like to have the current one on VMware. So it's going to come up, and then, of course, it's going to ask you to get started on something. I've already done it, so it won't. And I've already downloaded my little start template that I made for you. So I'm going to ask you to go to open. I'm going to open a model, open. And I'm going to navigate to my computer, network, drive Z, and it's in my downloads. I downloaded it from my Google Drive, and I'm going to do this 2024 version because that's what we've got. Revit does not work well between versions. So we're going to be using 2024 in this class. And it's processing, it's opening it up and reading everything and looking at everything and getting itself set. You're going to see that Revit always starts up with different ribbons in the top. We're going to live in this architecture one and in this annotate one. But there's also the properties box. That's very important. Whenever you click on anything, it's got properties, even just being in this view. And these views here, these are like viewports. We can always touch the model in the viewport, but that's what it's like. And it's got a scale, and it's got a place where it shows up, all sorts of things. They've all been set up. So let's go ahead and start. I'm going to put a wall in. And here's the shape. I've given you the shape already. There's the wall. And look, you can pick all these different types of wall. Okay, I'm just going to pick a standard, engineered face on studs, click, and I want this to say finish, face, exterior. When I place a wall, I want the outside face to match up with these lines. Finish, face, exterior. And then I can go pick lines. And if I pick from the outside, it puts it in the right place. And it is actually putting walls with all the studs and everything, all part of it. When we go to edit the type, you can see it even has all the heat transfer and absorption and what it's made out of and all that kind of stuff. And I can change the colors of it. And there's tons to do that we're not going to do. That's for other classes. But if I drop down here and look at it in 3D, here it is over here. Sorry, I got into rename instead of double click. There it is. I made that. So I'm going to go back up to my floor plan, and I'm going to put in a door. I've only loaded one door. Let's pick a 36 by 84 and put it in. And it was supposed to be 3'6" from the outside. There we go. And if it comes in wrong, you can just click these little buttons to change the direction. And let's put in a window. I think I'm going to put in a 36 by 48 over here. I'm going to put it in 4 feet from the wall. There we go. And those may not be exactly dimensioned off of the outside face over here. We can look at that later on. But for what we're going to do, this is fine. I just want you to get a really quick view and idea. So we've made, double click. There it is. There's doors, windows, walls, everything's there. We can put in a floor if we want. I didn't ask you to put in a floor, but you can put in a floor, a ceiling. But let's go ahead and put the roof on. Let's go to the roof plan and click roof. And now I'm going to pick walls. And it's already set up. It's got a 2-foot overhang, all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to click, and it automatically does the offset command for me. I'm just clicking on each wall coming from the outside. But then this has a very, very steep roof. So I'm going to highlight all those. I went up to my modify arrow, use my highlight button, and it says it's 9 on 12. And let's change it to a 5 on 12. Click the green arrow, and I have a roof. And yes, let's go ahead and attach the walls. There. I can look at different plans now. There it is in different perspective views, my elevation views. That's kind of cool. And I even have sheets set up. These are like layouts. And look, it's even counting up my doors and my windows for me automatically. So this is all on here. Now we're just going to add our dimensions and clean it up. So we'll go to our annotate. And I use the aligned. And I know that I'm just going to go by what I did before. 4 foot. But I want it to the exterior face. So I'm going to push that little button. And I can move that over a little bit if I want. There we go. It's 4 foot. See how I did that? Isn't that cool? If I click on it, I can actually just adjust it to be whatever I want. So it automatically puts it to the midpoint of the line. So you have to click this little button. I'm sure if you were working with one of our architects, they would fix that for us. But I'm a mechanical engineer and I can do it, which is amazing. So there's a 12. Another 12. See how fast this works. And now I need my 24. And I'm using the aligned dimension. It just seems to, for me, always get it into a better place. Many people would leave this in the middle, but I'm going to go ahead and put it up here. So that's off just a little bit here. So I'm going to click on my door. And I'm going to change this to 3 foot 6 inches because I think that's what my drawing called for. If you don't get those exactly right, I'm not really worried or interested. I just want you to see overall how this works and how quick and powerful it is. And it's even more quick and powerful if you get really good at it. Okay, you'll learn all about this in Design 325. That's the class that really delves in to how to work this program. And it's taught by an architect, which is like a really good thing. Okay? But look, even a mechanical engineer can get a really good description. And I always needed things like this. In my world as a mechanical engineer, I was always interfacing with the architects. So I had to be familiar with the tools. So there we go. And it shows up automatically on the floor plan. And if it needs to be moved a little bit, click on it and use your arrow keys to move it over. There, I've got that. Let's look at the roof plan. The roof plan, again, doesn't need too much on it. Okay, I'm going to put it into wireframes so I can see below, and then I can do my dimensioning. And again, I'm always adjusting these 2 feet. And then I think, did I put the wall on there also? And the 2 feet over here. And I really should also, I'm going to put a leader on here now. I'm going to go back to my annotate bar. And I'm going to do some text. And I'm just going to note. Oops, I don't want to do that one. I want to pick this one with an arrow. 5 on 12. Roof slope 5 on 12. And if that looks too big, I can come over here and I can pick a different size. Isn't that nice? And if you'd like to, you can move these sort of out of the way. So very quickly I can get to a nice roof plan. There we go. And on my elevations, I'm just going to pick one elevation. I do want to get rid of this little box. That is this hide crop region. It's right next to the little glasses. Okay, and I'm just going to put, again, just something. This is going to be asphalt. And I think that's too big again, so I'll make it smaller. I just want you to see that when you put something on one of these views, it shows up. So there we go. That's it. And this says Design 302 on mine. I'll change that so that it says Design 301. We use this in many different, this basic model in many different courses to teach you many different things about it. But there you go. You've made an entire sheet set in probably about 15 or 20 minutes. Pretty powerful. When you save it, File, Save as. It's a project. It's a project. And that saves it as a RVT file. Okay, so I'm going to go back and save it properly in my W drive. I don't know why I'm having a hard time getting to it, but you'll get to it. It's going to be, there it goes. W, and I'll put it here in my section 5, and I'll just go over my old one here. Don't worry about these ones with numbers. Those are backups. You always use the one without numbers. You can just delete those ones with numbers if you want. Save. And that, yep, there we go. So that's how we do Revit, and you can look forward to that mostly in Design 325, which after Design 301 you're welcome to take that course. You'll also learn some of it in Design 320, a little bit in 302. 325 is the big one, and then you really get into it in 340 and 360, which are our design courses.